This is Sweden by Robert Long and Andrew Correa.
Sweden is a country located in northern Europe bordering the Baltic Sea, Gulf of Lithuania, Kattegat, and Sahara. Sweden has a mixed economic system in which there is a variety of private freedom. Combined with centralized economic planning and government regulation, Sweden is a country that is very diverse from the rest of the world.
Science and technology. Famous inventions such as the pacemaker, the telephone handset, the ultrasound, and the safety match were all Swedish inventions that have changed the world. Voltus, Radon, and Tendo are just some of the many Swedish tech companies. Mergers, acquisitions, and restructuring are par for the course in the pharmaceutical industry. Markets grow and shrink. New treatments are developed and corporate priorities change. Jobs are created, moved, and lost. This came as no comfort to the 600 people left out of work when AstraZeneca shut down its research facility in Lund, Sweden in 2011. As the ripple spread, some saw it as the latest in a series of blows signaling the death of local industry. This picture on the right shows the Sweden National Museum of Science. It was built in 1792 and presents to people many important inventions. Government and politics. The current Swedish Prime Minister is Stefan Löfven, as shown in the bottom left. Sweden has a mixed economy. The economy of Sweden is a developed, export-oriented economy aided by timber, hydropower, and iron ore. Sweden has a parliamentary democracy government. The politics of Sweden take place in a framework of a parliamentary representative democratic constitutional monarchy. Executive power is exercised by the government, led by the Prime Minister. Legislative power is vested in both the government and parliament, elected within a multi-party system. Social relationships. Sweden is the only Nordic country without a state church. It is a very pluralistic country, with Lutheran people being 63% of the whole population. In Sweden, there are around 1,000 Swedish gypsies. In 1928, Prime Minister Per Albin Hansson described Sweden as Folkhemmet, the people's home. This metaphor of the nation as a great family household helped nourish the general welfare of society for the remainder of the century. Their food choices include pizza, kebabs, falafel, hamburgers, and Chinese cuisine. Nonetheless, it is customary to identify certain items as particularly Swedish because of their association with agriculture or early industrial past. The economy is unusually diversified for a small country. Sweden is a home to several giant transnational corporations which dominate foreign trade. Their economic and political might is counterbalanced by large labor unions and a strong public sector. The picture on the top left shows Swedish meatballs, and on the bottom left is toast Skagen. They have both been around since about 1958.
Art, entertainment, and sports. The most popular sport in Sweden is soccer, with the most popular team being the 8 team. The most famous Swedish player is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Sweden has many entertaining things just like the US, such as escape rooms, casinos, and virtual reality games. 3 most famous artists from Sweden are Anders Zorn, Carl Larsson, and Helma af Klint. Avicii was also a Swedish musician who was very popular around the world. Non-Swedes may still associate Sweden with ABBA, Roxette, and Ace of Base, but the music scene has moved on since those times. Acts like Zara Larsson, Icona Pop, and Swedish House Mafia are just some of today's big names in Swedish music. But you will be able to find out who the up-and-coming stars are by visiting Sweden's many music venues. Live music is extremely popular in Sweden, whether you like rock, dance, or opera. Sweden has a thriving music scene, and Stockholm undoubtedly has the best live music venues. There is a nationwide interest in soccer and /football. Thomas Ravelli, a Swede, has been voted the second best goalkeeper in the world. Sweden has a number of soccer teams and players that even play for national top teams. The most successful team of the country has been IFK Göteborg. The Swedish team has won the UEFA Cup, United European Football Associations, twice. Note that football in Sweden is soccer. American football is different. Every year in the month of February, all schools close for a week sport holiday. This enables families to have time to travel further up north in Sweden to ski in the winter months. In the picture to the right, it is Sweden's famous replica of the Dala horse. This horse was built in 1922 in Nunses, Sweden, and is said to symbolize the freedom of Sweden. Environment. Sweden is the most sustainable country in the world, a ranking it earned for its use of renewable energy sources and low carbon dioxide emissions. Sweden has excellent public service and kind people, but living in Sweden can be expensive. Prices will fluctuate depending on where you live, but overall it is very high. Sweden is a country that's known for many diverse and important things which keep their country the way it is. Sweden is the least polluted country in all of Europe per metric. Along with this, Sweden is also the 5th biggest country based on area as well, meaning they also have a lot of area to clean up compared to the other countries. In Sweden, there are around 100,000 lakes. The United States is about 20 times bigger than Sweden, but the amount of lakes don't even compare. America has only 1,681 lakes, while Sweden has close to 100,000. Sweden also was the first country in the whole world to pass an Environmental Protection Act, which was passed in 1967. For much longer than a decade, Sweden has been in the top 10 of globally respected environmental performance index with exceptionally clean air and water alongside the low emission in the country. Sweden has set very motivating goals, which include them going fossil-free by 2045 and having 100% renewable energy. According to conservation groups, one of the biggest environmental issues in Sweden is the consequences of the logging industry. The World Wildlife Fund has reported 2,000 forest-dwelling species are threatened in Sweden, from birds such as the white-backed woodpecker to species of lichens, moss, and fungi. The picture in the top right shows the Vänern Lake, one of Sweden's most popular lakes.
Let's take a trip to Northern Europe. On this episode of Fantastic Facts, we're taking a look at the Scandinavian country of Sweden.
Sweden? Isn't that where IKEA comes from?
Sweden is much more than just the birthplace of IKEA, Noah. Despite a population of just under 10 million people, Sweden has a rich and varied culture that stretches back a long time ago. In the 1930s, they created the Swedish model, a way of doing things that gives all Swedes access to education, healthcare, and a ton of other social and economic benefits.
That's fantastic.
It sure is. Sweden is also home to some of the coolest national parks in Europe, and was the first European country to have a national park system. This has kept some of the country's most beautiful places, well, beautiful.
Sweden sounds pretty sweet.
Indeed. However, Sweden is also a place of extreme opposites. For instance, because it is so close to the Arctic Circle, the sun stays up longer in the summer and stays down longer in the winter. In some parts, the sun only sets for a few hours during the summertime.
Cool. What else should I know about Sweden?
Well, fun fact, they invented the 3-point seatbelt, which has saved millions of lives.
Wow, I'm taking my next vacation to Sweden. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Junior Mojo for more fun.
Conclusion. Sweden occupies the greater part of the Scandinavian peninsula, which it shares with Norway. The land slopes gently from the high mountains along the Norwegian frontier eastward to the Baltic Sea. Geologically, it is one of the oldest and most stable parts of the Earth's crust. Without its great social relationships, science and technology, government and politics, art, entertainment and sports, and environment, Sweden would not be the same.